Hi, everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of NAAP News Now. My name's Alisa Tagg, and I'm the Association Director with the National Association of Activity Professionals. And with me today is my special guest, Ryan Reid of Sprat. Ryan, how are you doing today?
I'm great. Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to talk.
Ryan, we're so excited to have you with us today and to learn a little bit more about Sprat. And before we get into that, we would like for you to share with us just a little bit more about yourself and your background. Just tell everybody where you're coming from. That would be great.
Sure. So, yeah, my name is Ryan. I am the founder and director of Sprat. I am an artist, designer, and entrepreneur, and I've spent my career working with, designing for, befriending, supporting, collaborating with, grieving with, and thinking about older adults. I founded Sprat in 2014, and we deliver in person art programs to older adults, youth, and multi generational groups. In 2016, I moved to Nepal on a Fulbright scholarship where I studied the ways that elders were treated and integrated into communities there. I've worked in dementia units, I've taught classes in nursing homes, designed subway accessibility maps. I was the youngest board member at Isabella Geriatric Center. I've worked with the late grandmother of postmodern dance, Anna Halprin, during her 95th to 100th years. Um, so I give all this context because I've seen the problems that our work at Sprat solves from a myriad of perspectives, the perspective of older adults, staff, organizational needs, family, etc. And really all of this experience is infused into the work that Sprat does in the community.
That is amazing, Ryan. And you are so young to talk so much about all of these amazing experiences that you've had, especially with using creative arts. So you said that you began Sprat in 2014. Was that correct when you founded Sprat?
Yes.
What does Sprat stand for? Does it mean something specifically or mind
Yeah, it's
sharing?
actually, yeah, I get that question a lot. I'm glad you asked. It's actually not an acronym. A sprat is a small herring, like a tiny fish, and they swim together in schools of fish, like working together, thriving off of each other. And the well being of their community is a form of survival. So the meaning is really integrated with what we do at Sprat, thinking about older adults and youth as the most important participants in designing the future of our world. So that's the meaning behind Sprat. And I just want to give a little more context, if it's okay, about how Sprat came to be
Love
many
it.
years ago.
Yes, please.
Okay. So yes, it was founded in 2014, and it came out of a play. Actually, I wrote, directed, and produced a play about aging and Alzheimer's that featured a cast ages 8 to 83. And it premiered at the Smith Center in Las Vegas. And after each show, we had talkbacks with doctors from the Lou Ruvo Center, caregivers, social workers, family, cast members, etc. And the conversations were really potent, and a continued thread or question was, how do we bring the essence of this dialogue into the daily lives of community members? And through that conversation, Sprat was born, and kind of uh, came out of that play and those talkbacks.
That is really very cool, Ryan. I'm from Las Vegas, and I think it's really cool. I remember when the Smith Center was doing these type of programs with Lou Rovo, so it's really cool to see you take it further now. Here we are, what, 6 years later, 7, 8 years later, in really focusing on how to bring this interdisciplinary arts program into our communities. And so, why don't you share just a little bit more on how that can happen? That you provide this type of program. How could others that are watching today or watching later, how can they learn more about it and tell us how it works? Just share with us a little bit more
Sure.
about how that all goes about.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I'll first say that at Sprat, our North Star is bringing people together to form connections through what I think of as the transformative power of creative arts. So, we believe in community, creativity, vulnerability, as the path to authentically express ourselves and our deepest stories. In terms of the actual curriculum, we offer arts and wellness classes in a variety of disciplines. So, visual arts, performing arts, creative writing, expressive arts, wellness. So, for example, in action, this could look like a class in painting, drawing, theater, poetry, photography, drumming, collage, etc. If if you can think of it, we've probably taught it. If it's in the arts, and within our classes, we are asking participants to engage with questions like, where do I come from, or what is my history? Who am I now? And where am I going? Essentially catalyzing their life experience in the current moment into the opening of a creative process. Um, and in terms of working with clients, we began working with a new organization first by surveying their community, or their potential participants, and assessing what programs are of interest, what would be most valuable to them. And we then design a program specific to the organization. And we train local teaching artists to facilitate that program. So it's community specific. And all of our classes follow the Sprat structure, use Sprat curriculum, Sprat methodology, which we've honed over the years, and we make sure to track the impact of our programs through surveys and feedback. And lastly, I'll add that we also offer the option for organizations to include an exhibition of the artwork created, which we, coordinate and facilitate at the end of a program. And this is because I feel it's a really important completion of the circle of making art. That moment when the artist hangs their work up on the wall and then shares it with the community. So
Mhm.
that's a bit about what we do. Mhm.
Yeah, I think it's important too to point out, Ryan, as you were talking about everything, so that our audience better understands that it is an in-person program, that, it does need to come into your community, but it can happen wherever you are. Like, you work with the local artists of the area to provide the creativity aspects of it. And I know, like in a COVID world, we're always concerned about who can we bring into our buildings and things like that. And of course, with any program that we do in our communities, any volunteer service, any type of program, they have to go through the same kind of orientation that our employees do. So at least we would know that not only are we protecting our residents, but we're protecting those individuals that come and give of their time to do this service. And of
Yeah,
course,
absolutely.
yeah. And you know that
The
it
safety is so important. We have a lot of safety measures, and I will add that I was going to mention this at the end of talking, but we are in early stages of rolling out a virtual version of our program, like a platform where people can access classes on schedule and on demand, just because in the past years, there's a lot of pivoting and making sure that everyone's safe. So that is in development. It's a program called Bream, which would all be virtual.
which I think is amazing too, to offer a virtual option to this. But I know, as you and I both know, I'm creative, musically, but I'm not artistic, but I am musically talented. That these things need to be done in actuality. That it's a lot more beneficial when you can actually see the results taking place. But it is nice to have the option as well for those that are maybe more isolated or don't have the ability to have access to local artists or anything like that, that they can have the option to still do such a creative program on a virtual level. I think that's great that you're offering it in both ways. But I love the fact, Ryan, though, that you can provide this program wherever you are. You know, that it is something that you reach out to the local artists. And there are so many local artists that are looking for something to do to give back, right? I think
Mhm.
that's such an important aspect too to think about when we talk about creativity and being able to grow and develop in the interdisciplinary arts program that you provide. Um,
Yeah,
yeah. So is there anything like, I mean, obviously you've had some positive results. Can you share
definitely.
just a little bit with us about some things that have happened when you've delivered this art in this style of manner?
Yes, absolutely. When I'm speaking about this, I'm speaking about in-person programs mainly, so I'll kind of focus on that, but I'm happy to dialogue
Mhm.
with people about the virtual otherwise. So for older adults you know, in programs that are specifically just for older adults, we've seen a myriad of both mental and physical health benefits. So that could be it ranges, but better physical health, fewer doctor's visits, reduced loneliness, better scores on depression assessments, and improved mental wellness.
Mm.
And we also offer intergenerational programs. So with those, there's this unique blend of youth and older adults, and we've seen really beautiful friendships and bonds develop across generations. Um, and then I think the because it's arts focused, there's the the gaining of creative skills, understanding a variety of art mediums, and using these tools in their own daily lives. And lastly, there's there's this more subtle social emotional component where I see participants are reflecting on their ancestral history. They're writing their memoirs and thinking about their history. They're learning to be vulnerable in a group setting. They're overcoming a fear or hurdle around making art. Like, is this even something I can enter into and do? They're gaining collaborative tools, sometimes developing a portfolio, and really carrying a variety of expressive and creative tools they gather along the way with them into their lives. And I find that really exciting and special.
Oh, Ryan, I love everything you just said there because that all points to the non-pharmacological interventions that as activity professionals we are tasked with providing and looking for
Yes.
ways to really provide the meaning. And I love what you said at the end there with the ancestral aspect of it, where they're able to really dig into maybe their history and being able to share more of that. I know as an ancestor, you know, as I have lots of ancestors and thinking about the things that I've been able to read about them as I've studied doing genealogy and things like that, I've always been fascinated to read a little bit more about the history of my relatives and how what a neat thing that they're putting together now and paving the way for future generations to be able to come to and to learn more about. And that's the key
Mhm.
right there is being able to continue with a good quality of life and not just doing the same things over and over again. One of the things
Mhm.
I know as activity professionals in the last 2 years, we really had to start thinking creatively and thinking differently and thinking outside of, you know, the normal group activities. And this is a great resource that's available for everybody to utilize to find, you know, ways that you can bring more creative arts into your communities a little bit
Mhm.
more. So,
Absolutely.
Ryan, how can they learn more? How can we learn more from you?
Yeah. Okay. So our website is really our central hub. So our website is meetsprat.com. So MEET, like nice to meet you, Sprat, SPRAT.com. And on our website, you can sign up for our newsletter, visit our social media pages. If you're interested in bringing a program to your community, you can contact us through our site as well. And I also welcome anyone to reach out to me directly. My email is director@meetsprat.com.
Very easy email address, director@meetsprat.com. We'll get that in the chat box too for everybody to access. And we also have a PDF file we'll be adding to the chat box too of information on how Sprat works if you wanted to just read up on that if you've missed any part of this interview process here of NAAP News Now. Any other final thoughts that you might have, Ryan? I know you shared about the virtual programming that'll be coming out and everything. Is there anything else you want to share with us at this time?
Yeah, so the Bream is the name of the virtual program that's the we'll have on schedule and on demand arts and wellness classes developed by Sprat, and basically it's scheduled to launch publicly in the fall of this year after an extended pilot. But feel free to reach out if you're interested in potentially being involved in early stages or just want to learn more. Um, but I think that's all I have, and I just want to say thank you so much for having me, and thank you for all the great work you're doing at NAAP, and thank you, Elisa.
Well, thank you, Ryan. This has been a very awesome way to learn more about how we can really incorporate arts into our communities. And I love the fact that you provide a lot of the programs because those of us like myself that are artistically challenged can have the experience, to really learn and grow from it and not feel like the burden lies on our shoulders, that we have opportunities for extended resources that are there for everybody to be able to enjoy and work with that. So the website again is meetsprat.com, or you can email Ryan directly at director@meetsprat.com, and you can reach out to her at any time. Check out their website, look at the resources that are available, and we have an info packet that will also be added to this chat so that you can review that in your own leisure time. But thank you so much again for your time today, Ryan. We really appreciate you. We appreciate everybody out there, and we look forward to seeing you once again. Same time, same place, back here at the NAAP News Now. Everybody stay safe and stay sane. Take care.
Thank you, Elisa. Thanks,
All right.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.